Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today I have a TBR for the month of May, all the books that I want to or hope to read. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the first book that I want to read is, well, not the first book I want to read. The first book I'm going to talk about is The Rage of Dragons. This is an adult fantasy. Wanda, that I saw really take BookTube by storm when it came out, which I believe was in like 2018, 2019. Let's see if I can see. It looks like this was originally published in 2017, but it was talking about on BookTube on 2019, so I bought it. It's been sitting on my shelf ever since, and I recently have seen this really take over fantasy book talk, which I really love fantasy book talk, and I've started to try and make more book talk videos for that. And someone on there named Michael, who I've sort of started to become friends with, he is running a book club, and this is the pick for the month of May. So I thought that would be fun and good time for me to finally try and get to this book. Okay, so the next book that I want to read is One Kiss Alone by Nicole Van. And she's a historical romance author who I really, really love. I've only read 2 of her books, but both of them have been amazing. I just read the second book in this series in April, so this is book 3. I haven't looked at the synopsis. I don't really even know what it's about, but I know I love this series. Book 2 is one of the best historical romances I've read this year, and I really, really loved it, and I'm excited for this one. Okay, so now the next book that I have is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. This is another adult fantasy, and I believe this is like very speculative with a very interesting and like thought-provoking point of view and writing style. I hear that this comes closest to the 5th season in terms of point of view, and I love the 5th season. I think it's fantastic, so I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting to get to it for a long time, but I just have been kind of putting it off like I tend to do with books that I think I'm gonna love. Also, I apologize for Wanda chewing on her bone. It is so loud, but if I take it away, she will cry. So, I don't know what the better option is. Crying dog or bone chewing dog? You can yell at me in the comments if you want to. Okay, so the next book that I want to read is The Sword of Kaigen, which is another adult fantasy. I have had this on my radar for a very, very, very long time, and I recently saw, I believe that this book has gotten picked up for publication with a traditional publisher. I actually did get approved for her next book that comes out, I think, this fall? I don't know. I have not done a good job of keeping track of when arcs are coming out. Oh, look who's being a nice, quiet girl. We see her little nose. So this is I believe this is sort of like an Asian-based fantasy, and we have a son who, you know, he's 14 years old. He's always known his purpose is to master his family's fighting techniques, and then his mom was a great swordswoman, and she never was able to use her sword. She put all of that aside when she got married to be you know, when she married into the Matsuda house. She's determined to be a good housewife and mother. But then her son starts asking questions about the outside world, and the threat of invasion looms on the horizon, and her frigid husband grating on her nerves, Misaki finds the fighter and her clawing its way back to the surface. So I am so excited about this. I've heard, honestly, I would say I've heard 99% positive things about this, and I just have a feeling I'm going to love it. So, okay, the next book that I want to read is For the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Again, I don't really know what this is about, and I've tried really hard to stay away from like reviews or ratings, but I do know that I love Abby Jimenez. Part of Your World is one of my favorite books of hers, and I am really hoping that I love this. I'm excited about it. So contemporary romance, Abby Jimenez is fantastic. Can't wait for this one. Okay, the next book that I want to read is Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. I recently just heard that if you like romance, that this one would be good. Now, I've read a lot of Brandon Sanderson. He's one of my favorite fantasy authors. I've read a lot of his work. So I know that he doesn't do like romance, but I do think that when he does include some romance, it's always really fun and really good. So I'm very excited about this one. And I haven't really kept up with his Secret Project novels. The only one that I've read is Tress of the Emerald Sea. So I'm excited about this one. Okay, and then the next book that I want to read is King of Sloth by Anna Huang. I know this is in her, I don't remember what this series is called, but it's all about the 7 deadly sins. I love Anna Huang. I think she is fantastic. Her romances just always seem to hit for me, and so I'm very excited about this one. Again, I know, I'm very excited about all the books on here, but the book before this, which I believe was that King of Wrath, The Marriage in Trouble, oh my gosh, I loved that book so much. So I'm excited about this one. Okay, and then the next book that I want to read is Broken Whispers. This is a book that Jen from the Book Refuge picked out for me. I kind of want to try mafia romances again. I think maybe it's time. I feel like I'm maybe in the mood for it, and she said this was a good one. I know that a lot of people have read this, but I have not been in a mafia romance mood for quite a while. So here's hoping that I really love this. I do trust Jen completely. So now the next 3 books are books that are on my physical shelves. And one is Desperate Duchess by Eloisa James. So I own a lot of Eloisa James books, but I have not really read very many books from her. I think I've only read like 3 or 4. So this series is one that I've been meaning to get to for so long. And I was just looking through my shelves and I was looking on Libby to see what was available to me, and this one was ready for an instant borrow. So I'm excited about this. It looks like the Marquess's sheltered only daughter falls in love with a man she glimpses across a crowded ballroom who is a duke. A notorious rakehell shows no interest in marriage until he lays eyes on Roberta. The Earl of Griffin knows too well the price required to gain a coronet is often too high. Damon Reeve, the Earl, is determined to protect the exquisite Roberta from chasing after the wrong destiny. Can Damon entice her into a high-stakes game of his own, even if his heart is likely to be lost in the venture? I am excited about this. I just love historical romance, and I've been really wanting more like this type of old school. Not like old school Joanna Lindsey, but like I feel like we're in a state of currently publishing historical romances that kind of are maybe hit or miss for me, and this type of era where they still had step backs, it was still like a beautiful mass market, like I miss this. Okay, but saying all of that being said, I do have another historical romance that is a trade paperback. This one is The Gentleman and the Thief by Sarah M. Eden. I love Sarah M. Eden. I think she is a great writer, and I think she does swoony romances very, very well. This one sounds really fun because we have our hero who kind of falls in love at first sight with our heroine. He is from a wealthy, established family. She's not. He writes penny dreadfuls under a pseudonym, like nobody knows. He doesn't want anybody to know that he does that, but if it wasn't for the income he got from those, he would be broke. And then we have our heroine who also has a secret that she once had a place in society, but due to her father's bankruptcy scandal, they don't have anything anymore. And so what she does, she teaches music during the day, and then at night she assumes the identity of the Phantom Fox and breaks into the homes of the wealthy to reclaim treasures she feels were unjustly stolen from her family when they were struggling. And then Hollis's brother needs a music tutor for his daughter, and then they hire her, and that's how they meet. And I just think this sounds so fun, so I'm very, very excited about this one. Sounds very like fresh and unique and just sounds like a good time. Okay, and the last book on my TBR is Dragon Fruit. This is a YA fantasy, I believe, with one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen in my life. And again, this was a cover buy, this was a buzz buy, I just had heard a lot of people talking about. And the only thing I really know about this is that this is a, it says in the old tales it is written that the egg of a sea dragon, dragon fruit, holds within it the power to undo a person's greatest sorrow. But as with all things that offer hope, when hope has gone, the tale comes with a warning. Every wish demands a price. So, I think that sounds amazing. So I'm very excited. I've got some great books here on my TBR, don't fall, for the month. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good reading month. So let me know what you want to read for the month of May. And if there's any book on here you want to see me prioritize, let me know that in the comments. And I'll talk to y'all later.